We looked at Bernard's books originally because they're great entertainment, and I think that's what drew in the BBC and BBC America as well, that we weren't confined by a literary adaptation and we could have a bit more fun with these.
These books are real page-turners, they're highly entertaining, and Bernard is a fantastic creator of historical fiction.
I know various friends and family are completely hooked on The Last Kingdom, so it would really respect the original material, really.
And what Stephen Butchard, our wonderful screenwriter, brought was the ability to hone in on the relationships and bring out all of the emotion as well as the big set pieces of the stories.
The books are fantastic, they're fantastic reads, but they're not scripts. And he's managed to hone them down, and I think he's adapted the best of the books.
Stephen has this wonderful imagination, so why not let him add his imagination to the mix? And then you hire these brilliant actors, Alexander Dreymon, Emily Cox. They bring all their skills to it, and I think, you know, my best thing I can do is to stand back and let them do it.
We wanted this show to look different than other period dramas. Obviously, there's this huge amount of period in the marketplace, so how do we make our show stand out? And very early on, we asked Nick Murphy, our lead director, to come on board.
Nick Murphy is very much the first director who set up the style and to cast the main characters and really created the world of The Last Kingdom.
I think most dramas set in this sort of period base themselves on other dramas set in this sort of period. So we stripped all of that away, and any time anybody behaves in a way that you think, hang on, this is based on former other dramas, not based on the way human interaction works, we've binned.
What he didn't want to do was make a conventional BBC costume drama. We've made loads of those. He wanted to try and find a way of reinventing the format that didn't fall down the same holes as others have fallen down in the past, where everybody speaks really slowly. No matter what they're saying, the tone is always going to be the same.
Yes, it should have an immediacy. I'd hate to think that these were sort of, you know, ye olde dramas.
Nick sent this fantastic letter to everyone who auditioned for the project, which said there will be no thigh slapping, no one will be sort of chucking goose legs over their shoulders. And it was about, let's meet these people, these real people, in as close to their world as we can possibly create.
With any period piece, it's very easy to slide into caricature or slight naffness. And I think what's wonderful about Nick Murphy, the director, is that he's very keen to avoid any of that. So it never feels like we're rehashing another medieval blood and guts thriller.
Just kind of bringing it back down to earth and remembering these people have the same drives as any other human being in any other time.
It's going to be grubby and dirty, this. It's, you know, it's not going to be clean and polished necessarily. You are going to hopefully smell it and, you know, sense it and feel it.
There's not that much known about that time, and so I think the world that we evolve in this show is a world that we created, and that hopefully gets as close as it really was as possible.
We've gone and pushed for reality. So the visual style of approaching it is absolutely about reality. There's a lot of handheld stuff, there's a lot of energy. We're discovering things as the characters do, and I'm very keen that the camera work, instead of being this master storyteller telling a yarn of stories of old, it's actually the camera is the audience.
You're in the thick of the action, you're there, the smells and the pain. And that's how we've tried to shoot it, so it's very immediate.
What we try to avoid is, if someone's walking into a room, we've not got a wide shot from the back of the room with someone walking in. We want to be with the actor on his shoulder, and then we're going into the room with him, so he doesn't know what he's going into, and neither do we.
This documentary approach gives us a different photographic style, which I think set us apart, but it's still got a very high production value to it all because it feels so real.
Action! We'd have the script, obviously, we have our action, we'd have the set, our playground, and we'd just go, and he wouldn't even want us to know where the camera was. It was very documentary style and so freeing.
Nick was very good at taking their ideas on board and either yaying it or naying it, and we'd build the shot together.
I found it fantastic because he managed to provide an environment where stuff can actually happen without it being planned.
There are many genuine moments that just happened that one time, which they were there.
His cameras are always moving, and we're finding all kinds of more unusual shots and movements because of the cameras, and it's really nice. It's really nice, you know, to photograph something that has never been photographed like this before.
It was wild, it was free. So, for example, the cameraman told me at one point that if during a scene, even if we hadn't talked about it before, I felt like picking something up from the ground, I should just do it because he would just follow me.
He would get what he called a golden shot, so something that with a gun to his head he would be able to use as a one shot, the whole scene.
125, take 5.
We'll land into an overshot and we'll do the dialogue, and then once we've got that golden slate, we'll then turn around and we'll pick up the close-ups that we need. It's what Nick was always trying to achieve.
I've never worked before where you do a 10-minute scene completely all in one take, which is really exciting to, as an actor. It feels like you're back in the theatre and you and the crew move around each other.
Behind me, I've got the grip, I've got a guy carrying the camera, the backpack, and then I travel in and people have got to be manoeuvring as I'm taking the camera around. So it's a bit of a ballet.
They're treating you well?
I am fed, yes.
Good, that's all we ask.
They've all got to get behind me as I turn with the actor to go out that way. So they all manoeuvre behind me, and we had some hilarious moments, obviously.
Everyone's moving around like a little dance, and it's amazing, you know, the camera comes through and people are having to move out of the way and then come back and find marks to help with the eye line, and once we're all doing it, it's amazing to see.
Uhtred means nothing to me but a path to take back what's rightfully mine, my land, my wealth, and my title.
It is a leading man show, and so you really needed an actor who could be a leading man, that you could see someone on the posters that we believe is our hero, that we believe is our warrior. And Alex nailed that immediately.
As soon as I saw him, I could imagine him costumed in this role. I could imagine him on the poster. He just felt like somebody that you could hang the entire show on him.
He has been astonishing. He's physically phenomenal. He's got great pathos. He's a wonderful guy, lovely fella, not in the least bit starry.
He's Uhtred. He just gets everything about it. He gets all the characters. He just gives every single thing to it.
He has a strange quality as an actor that just draws you to him, and he's taken the part with such gusto, and what a guy to watch. I mean, he's just a joy to watch, really is.
Father, this is Brida, my greatest friend.
A woman?
Yes?
I am. I have tits.
There is a magic that Emily produces, often without her knowing, without really realizing. She just produces this sort of magic giggle of excitement. Very important. These guys are young people. They're not carrying the world heavily. They can go through trouble with a smile on their face. And that's a quality that Emily had when she came in, and that was really what drew us to her.
What's clever about this series is there's a gorgeous mix of talented actors. It makes it really exciting to work with people who've all come from very different backgrounds.
We're always cutting between these two tribes, and you would always know, well, in this scene I'm with the Anglo-Saxons because they're all English actors with English accents, and I know I'm with the Vikings because they sound like Scandinavian actors.
In the old days, you'll get a British actor looking like me to play the role. But now actually you go out and get the real thing. And I think that's fantastic.
It was brilliant and so much fun to be around. And I think the show gets a lot from that because you have these two different worlds meeting. And we as actors got a lot from it because we react to it.
It was really interesting to see such a fantastic group of wonderful English actors like Matthew Macfadyen, David Dawson, Ian Hart. And on the other side, people like Rune Temte, Thomas Gabrielsson, Tobias Santelmann, and of course the wonderful Rutger.
The greatest prize is the last kingdom, Wessex.
It has been wonderful working with Rutger. I met him the first day in costume, and I admit I was a bit starstruck.
What a brilliant actor. He's such an incredible... I remember the first read-through we had, everybody just was gaping at him.
Rutger came very early on as our casting director's brilliant idea and just brought such gravitas and fun and brilliance into the first episode.
It was funny because when they asked me to play this, I went, well, I don't know much about this period. Of course, it's one of those dreams, boys' dreams, that you go, I want to be a Viking.
It's a vast story and an epic story about the creation, literally about the creation of a nation, and yet which focuses in on these very, very small moments.
What The Last Kingdom does is that they let us as viewers come close on the characters. And I think this is going to make it stand out. You're not just watching, but you will be involved.
Let's shock people. Let's get a fresh set of eyes on this genre and this period.
Let's make it believable and let's try and make something a bit different.
As you cut to a scene, the audience must never feel, I know what this scene does. I know what this scene, I know what's going to happen. Always surprise them. Always leave them thinking, what's going to happen in this scene. What you're left with is the absolute pure narrative. What people want, what are they trying to do, what are their objectives. Then you're in a world where the drama means far more than it would if it was covered in this veneer of oldie-worldy medieval Robin Hood.